Now to our team coverage of a number of races spanning all across southeastern North Carolina.
We're covering all the major races that matter to you. Let's start with WECT's J.C. Caldwell, who is following the commissioner's race in New Hanover County.
I'm J.C. Caldwell covering the New Hanover County primary Democratic race for Board of Commissioners. Rob Zappel, Judy Justice, Celeste Andrews, and LaShonda Wallace are the four candidates hoping to claim one of the two available seats. And they all actually have quite a bit in common, including their support for the $320 million school bond and having current or prior leadership roles serving the community. However, some of their priorities set them apart. Creating more affordable housing options seems to be a big focus for candidates Wallace and Andrews, while Zappel and Justice say they want to focus on a change in land use policies and prevent overdevelopment. Whoever wins the primary race will face off against two Republican candidates and a Libertarian candidate in the general election in November. Reporting in New Hanover County, J.C. Caldwell, WECT News.